Hey guys, welcome to JShell Part 2. Last time we talked about what the JShell was. We went over some useful commands. We talked about variables, snippets, startup snippets, default imports. This time, a little more of that, and then we'll also look at how we can get helpful suggestions and information from the JShell. So let's get going. So let's add a couple more snippets. Let's get 10. How about we'll make a double. And we saw that the math class was imported by default, so let's try something with the math class. How about math.random? So that generated a random number for us. And now let's try vars again to see what variables we have. And look at that. So now we can see all of the variables that we've created. So what about all of our snippets? Well, that's a very important command in the JShell is list, /list. And now if you haven't caught on by now, all JShell commands, they lead off with this /. Whenever you see a /, that's a JShell command. So hit list, enter, and list gives us a list of all active snippets. We can use this ID here on the left to access a particular snippet. So we can type list2, and there's our method. We can also use the variable name or identifier. This D, and there's our double. And we saw that JShell has a default startup script, those imports that we looked at earlier with the /imports. And we can get an ID'd list by typing list and -start. And if we go list all, it's going to give us the default startup script, the imports, as well as all of the variables that we've created so far, all of our snippets. And we can access those by name or ID. Let's see what else. Oh yeah, besides vars, we can also check our methods. And I can shortcut list by just typing L, and list all, because there are no other commands that start with A, we can type list all by just typing /L-A. So lots of shortcuts in the JShell. So to delete variables, methods, whatever, we have the drop command, /drop. So let's see what we've got here. We have quite a little collection growing. Let's see if we can clean house a little. So we're looking at our whole list here. Let's try drop, and we can use the ID or name. So let's drop our method add to, and let's use the ID. So drop 3. And what happened there? Did that work? Let's try methods. No, it's still there. What happened? Drop add 2. Oh, and that worked. Okay, dropped method add 2. Let's try to drop our double. Let's try drop 8. Drop variable 8. We can look again at our variables, and we see that our double is gone. And what else can we drop? We can drop that class. We'll drop JShell demo, and that class is gone. So that's how we delete in the JShell with the drop command. Now I saved this for last. So now that you're familiar with some commands and can recognize some of this stuff, if you're having trouble remembering all of this, the JShell provides a lot of help for us, starting with the help command. So let me exit the JShell and come back in so I can point something out to you that I didn't the first time we entered JShell. Not in the JShell, just from the command prompt, we can type JShell --help. And this shows us all of our options when getting into the JShell. Now we've used some of these you'll recognize. There's verbose, there's version, show version, and all kinds of options here for you to explore. So let's go back into the JShell. Verbose mode. Oh. And this time you'll notice here it offers us some help right off the bat. It suggests that we try /help intro. So let's try that. And this returns a nice little intro to the JShell. It's telling us what the JShell does, gives us some examples, It mentions snippets, explains what those are. Basically tells us what we can do with the JShell. It shows that we have some commands like list. And then it shows us for a list of all of our commands, we just use help. So let's try that, /help. And help shows us all kinds of stuff. So here are all of our commands. Some of these you're going to know. We know list. We looked at drop, vars, methods, imports. So there's a little bit of information about all of the commands that we can use in the JShell. It says here if we want some information about a particular command, we can just type help followed by that command, help list, help intro. We can do something like help methods. So there's everything we want to know about the methods command. So much help available to us. Now let me show you a little bit of the power of the tab key in JShell. JShell has tab completion, of course. So if I type, say, S, hit the tab, it's going to give us a bunch of suggestions. I could add a little Y. It's going to narrow our options. And if I hit another S, hit tab, it's going to suggest system. So the tab is mighty in the JShell. So for example, to see the names of all commands, names only, no description, I can type the / and just hit tab. And there they are again. Now it says that if I tab again, we can get a synopsis of each command. So there we go. Again, we know some of these. There's our list, methods, and so on. And then if I tab again, we can kind of go through all of the commands line by line. See, one by one here. There's the / question mark. And if I tab on that, it's going to give us our options for what we can use with this question mark command. So we can even question mark the question mark. And there's a nice little description of what that does. So we can use this command to get a description of some other command, for example, drop or list. Something else that we can do, and I think this is a feature of most shells, is we can hit Control-R, and this will allow us to search through the history in reverse order for a particular string. Say import, try array, there's our array list. Java, of course, there we go. And to get out of here, we can just hit Control-C, I believe. Yeah, that worked. So there's just so much help available to us from within the JShell. Now I'm going to leave you with just one last command or two. If we type /help, and look here, we have a description of shortcuts. So if we /help shortcuts, it shows us some handy ways to generate variables, methods, imports with just a couple of keystrokes. So great stuff, no shortage of help from the JShell. Alright, so now it's time to explore and play in the JShell on your own. This was just a simple introduction to the JShell. The purpose of this was just to get you up and running, to get you familiar with some of the more common commands. By no means anything close to a thorough guide to the JShell and all you can do with it. There's no need to fill your head with all of that at once, but now hopefully you're a little more comfortable getting into it. If it feels like a lot to take in, just keep following videos like these, practice, play with those commands, use the tab key, and look at that documentation, and before long it'll all be second nature to you. Alright, thanks a lot for watching. If you have any suggestions, requests, leave them below. If you learned something, then you've made my day, but if you could also like and subscribe, that would be great too. Alright, see you next time.